Hola, we will talk a little about the application of infrared thermography in bulls clinical andrology. The association between the length of the scrotum and the final classification during the bull's breeding soundness evaluation has been reported since the 90s in sites extensively managed in tropical Costa Rica. In 2000, Chacón reported a higher prevalence of bull's rangas on sound associated to a scrotum apex overpassing the hock joint. Even though the condition has been more frequently found in Bostaurus iris, Cebu, and crossbreeds with a long scrotum, have been also more commonly rangas on sound due to seminal and clinical deviations linked with testicular degeneration. However, the pathogenesis of these associations remains unclear.
Infrared thermograms from the caudal scrotal surface in bulls extensively reared were recorded and then analyzed with thermography software. 37 sires diagnosed as having normal scrotum, its apex above the hock joint level, and previously ranked as sound for breeding were compared against 35 bulls with long scrotum, the scrotal apex below the hock joint.
All the bulls having a normal scrotum had a thermogram characterized by left to right symmetry, a thermal pattern throughout the scrotum with decreasing isotherm concentric bands from top to bottom, a mean top to bottom temperature gradient over the testicle area of about 1 Celsius degrees, an average temperature of around 31 Celsius degrees over the epididymal cauda, and a positive gradient of about 1 Celsius degrees between the average temperature over the testicular area and the epididymis cauda.
In contrast, long scrotum bulls showed in most cases a misarrangement of the thermal pattern as described for normal bulls, characterized by left to right thermal asymmetry, a lack of concentric decreasing isotherm bands, a significantly lower top-to-bottom temperature gradient over the testicle area, in some cases close to zero or even negative, a reduced gradient between the average temperature over the testicle area and epididymal cauda. In 60% of cases, the thermal pattern showed a misarrangement with mixing of areas with different temperature, while the remaining 40% showed a uniform thermal pattern from the top to the bottom over the testicle zone and epididymal cauda. Bulls having a long scrotum show a decreased top-to-bottom temperature gradient over the area of both gonads, as well as a lower testicle epididymal cauda gradient compared to normal scrotum sound for breeding bulls. These findings, together with the lack of decreasing concentric isotherm bands from the base up to the apex of the scrotum, plus the mixing of colder and hotter temperature spots, suggest an association between the long scrotum with the impairment of the countercurrent mechanism of testicular thermoregulation, as well as a relationship between this condition and the consequent testicular degeneration. The present field of research still ongoing by the author at the Research Program of Applied Animal Andrology, Veterinary Medicine School, UNA, Costa Rica.